going to get started regardless of who's here. Might just be you and I, that's all right. All right. Exactly. We will start however you're comfortable, on your knees, sitting, standing. We'll just start with some nice, big, deep breaths. In through your nose, feeling your chest rise. And pushing all that air out. Using those deep core muscles to push all that oxygen out. Or CO2 at that point, I guess. Just spending a few seconds here making some nice, calming breaths. We're in a very good position to just lean forward, reach however far you can go, try to hinge at the hips. Oh, you should feel kind of a nice little release in your lower back as you reach forward, breathing nice and deep. You inhale really deep while you're reaching forward, really just like feel kind of like that stretch in your back as your lungs expand. Using our own breath to kind of bring some natural stretching in there. Oh, that feels nice. And then we'll go to activating some of those deep core muscles. So we're going to start down on the mat, on our back. We're going to take our ribs, push them down, take our lower back, press it into the back, and tucking our tailbone under. Really activating those deep core muscles. We're just going to start like up and down, alternating side to side. Nice and smooth and control. Keeping those ribs down, keeping that lower back into the ground. Breathing nice and deep. Keeping the hip flexors out of it, trying to adjust in the core. Making belly button to center. Doesn't have to be a super fast movement. Just trying to wake up some muscles. Remember, you should be able to breathe through this. Don't hold your breath. Exercise right here will be a great modification to always come back to. If we do like a core exercise that's too hard or that you've had enough of, you can always just come back to this one. This one's a great one to use to reset. Alright, right here down on your mat, go ahead, take a nice little full body stretch, feeling that low back to come off the ground, stretch it out nice and long. We're going to go into a crunch, and what we're really going to focus on in our crunch today is keeping our other muscle groups out of it. We're going to be like, stay out of it, neck, stay out of it, lower body, whatever you try to do when we do this, because they like to join in and join the party, you know. The neck really likes to join the party here. So, if you have to put your hands behind your neck to keep it from like joining in, we'll do that. We're gonna keep our ribs down, and it's gonna be like a very, very small, tiny little crunch as we bring that rib to hip bone. And it might be so slow, and that's okay, because our focus is gonna be keeping the neck out of it. Still keeping that belly button in and down towards your spine. Just a little baby crunch right there. Breathing nice and deep. You might have to like really focus here. Use a lot of brain power maybe in this one. You might get a little, bumpy road, shaky feeling in your core really early, and that's okay. That means like we're doing a better job at recruiting the correct muscles then right now. Oh, I know, I am a terrible neck cruncher if I'm not paying attention. The neck is joining in the party. So you're going to be feeling this a lot quicker, even though we're doing this a lot slower. We're doing a lot less reps of it. Ooh, how you feel? You feeling that? I'm trying to envision this way down my stomach. Yes, that's a good visual. We're doing super slow crunches. We're trying really hard to keep our neck out of it. We want to just focus on the core, those abdominal muscles. All right, rest, take a little break. You can roll over, give yourself a little granny. Better late than not at all. Yep. Oh, stretch out the core there. Sit back into child's pose. From child's pose, so you'll have to flip over for this one. We're going to go into a plank, and since we have the mirrors to use in here, we're going to use the mirrors to watch our postures. So we're going to go into a plank, trying to keep our tailbone tucked under, our ribs tucked in. So when you look at yourself in the mirror, it's almost going to look like you're making a little arch right here. But oh my goodness, should you feel that core be fired up right now when you do a plank like this. Ribs are pulling towards those hip bones. Remember to breathe. Ooh, rest. Go ahead, sit back in the child's pose. So you should be able to feel the difference in that version of a plank. That it's like all core. Like you have no choice. And then take note this time. So we're going to do it again. Take note, tucking that tailbone in, bringing your ribs towards your hip bones. Take note, are you feeling even on both sides? Are you feeling that your core on your left is matching your core on your right? Maybe we're finding a little bit of an imbalance we need to work on. So just take note, okay, left, right, who do I need to work on over here? Take a look in the mirror. Did you fall out of it at all? Are you still tucking those hip bones forward? The more you tuck those hip bones forward, the more you are going to feel the burn. Go ahead, sit back in child's pose. Take a few deep breaths. I'm not really timing how long we did those. I'm just kind of going with a burn factor of when it starts to hurt. Okay, good. Yeah, I know, and she hasn't been here in a while from her surgery, so. All right, one more. Third time's the charm. Use the mirror, check posture. tucking that tailbone under, breathing nice and deep. Two more deep breaths. Bring it back to child's pose. Every time we do child's pose, it should be a nice relaxing pose. You should almost make you feel a nice little stretch in your low back. If you breathe nice and deep and fill your lungs, you should feel a stretch across the top of your back. All right, from here we're going to go on to all fours. So we'll be in a quad position here. We're going to kind of channel, as we do it, we're going to kind of like channel that like tailbone tucked under that we were just doing. So it's really going to keep our core engaged the entire time that we do this. We're going to start with our leg. So watch in the mirror how when you take your leg up like this, like I just did it right here, like my lower back bent, curved, whatever. I want to go back to this. I want to keep that core engaged the whole time. So in doing that, I can't lift my leg as high. And that's okay. My knee is like just above the ground, and that's totally fine. So let's start with pulsing towards the ceiling. You should be feeling a lot of core and a lot of glutes right here. Those are the two main muscles that are working. I know there's other muscles working, but and then take note, look in the mirror, like, oh, okay, did I fall out of it? Yep, I fell out of it a little bit. My core kind of take a little snooze. It likes to do that periodically. Go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Switch sides. Using the mirror as our guide again, and tucking that tailbone under, lifting up the opposite knee, pulsing it towards the ceiling. Again, you're going to feel those core muscles should be on fire, glutes should be engaged. Quite haven't lifted glute up, it's a big muscle, so it might take a little while for that one to fatigue, but we're getting there. From child's pose, we'll go into a nice little pigeon stretch here. On your hands, on your elbows, wherever your flexibility lets you go today. Nice big deep breaths. And switch sides. Taking on the other side. Taking note, maybe one side feels tighter than the other. Maybe we need to give this one a little extra stretching this afternoon. I have no shame. I'll do this right at my desk on the floor. I really don't care.
It feels so good.
It does.
Probably because you're a runner too. Right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I always get like tight hips.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Gently bring it back out of there. We're going to go back into that quad position, engaging that core, thinking ribs to hip bones. This time, we're just going to go really slow. We're going to alternate extending an arm and a leg. Bring it back in slow. Switch to the other side. We're just going to go for a minute doing this. Not going to time how many you do. I just want you to try to stay really, really stable as you're doing it. Not shifting from side to side. Keeping that core engage, feeling that glute engage as you extend that leg out, even using the mirror to watch yourself. Okay, as I extend the leg, am I staying in good position? Too many things to think about, but that's why we won't count. We'll just time it. Got about 15 more seconds here. Keep breathing, checking your posture. Do you have a side that feels stronger than the other? Do you have a side that feels a little weaker? Again, just take note. I know I always need to like give my left side a little bit more attention because it's just kind of lazy sometimes. Go ahead, rest, sit back in child's pose. And we'll take another little shorter this time, but we'll go into pigeon. Even if you're not a runner, pigeon is great because we sit at our desks so much. Get that whole hip complex gets a little bit tight, the lower back gets tight. Sides. So we're going to give it lots of attention today. All right, we're going to bring it back into that quadruped position. We're going to do 30 seconds on one leg and 30 seconds on the other. Your goal is keeping that core engaged, keeping everything nice and stable. You're going to take that leg back, around, and then set the knee down. So, a lot to think about to stay stable in this one. You're going to have to probably go really slow. Your leg might not lift up very high, and that's okay. That knee could just stay really low to the ground. Like maybe this right here, this is all it can do. And that is totally fine. We're just bringing kind of an active mobility back into that ball and socket hip joint, saying, hey, you can move in all of these directions. We just need to remind you that you can do that. Without taking, your lower back or something else with it. All right, switch side. Do 30 seconds on the other side. Ooh, and mine clicked. So maybe it'll click back into place.
That's what that was.
Yeah. Go ahead, sit back into child pose. We're going to add just a little taste of strength to this. Nothing too crazy, I promise. We're going to shift into plank. Walk ourselves back to standing, where I'm walking myself right on the screen here. Feet are about shoulder width apart when we get to the top. Little squat, doesn't have to be big, it can just be little. Roll yourself back down, using your own strength to walk yourself back out, knees or toes. Push up, and push toes back down, walking yourself back. So, like all those muscle groups that we just used, we're going to use them all together in one right here. We're going to do this 30 more seconds. So, not really worried how many you do. Take your time.
Like walking burpees.
Kind of, yeah, an easier version of a burpee. We could do burpees, but
No, this is good.
then I would break my rule of like no one's sweating and I might be in trouble. I do not break that rule. I don't know what your problem is. I'm just kidding. Max, he got after me last week. He's like, I'm getting warm. Oh, let's do one more good one. And when you get to the bottom, just stay down there. Give yourself a little stretch, a little upward dog. Oh, that should be good. Upward dog, let's shift into downward dog. So, heels are going towards the ground, they may not touch the ground. Sit bones are going towards the ceiling, head is between our elbows. So we're making a nice straight line in the middle, hinging at the hips. All right, let's bring it back onto our mat. Grab your band. All right, we're gonna do some core and some hips at the same time. So make sure you get this secured around, yeah, don't hit yourself in the face with your band. You don't want any incidents today. Okay. Bring your legs up to the top. Ooh, I picked a really light band today. Really stretchy. All right, you're gonna pulse those legs to the outside. So pulsing those legs, you should be feeling those side glute muscles on the side of your hip. You might not feel it right away, that's okay, but those are the muscles that you should be activating. Okay, so we're just gonna hang out here for a second, pulsing. Then this is completely optional. You do not have to do the next part. You just keep pulsing if that's where you're at. Now, with or without a hand behind your head, if you can do this without letting your neck get involved, it's going to be the tricky part here. A little baby crunch up towards your shoes while you pulse. Woo, it's a lot to think about, I know. Don't let your neck join in. So if you have to put your hand there to keep your neck out, we're doing a little coordination exercise right here.
It's like chewing bubble gum.
I know. Can you keep your legs going while you crunch? Woo! Oh, mine just stopped there for a second. They were like, what are you doing? I don't care if you just try one, if you do 5, that's totally up to you. Give it a try. If it's too much, just keep pulsing the legs. The legs are just going to get kind of tired because we're holding them in the air and they're going to be like, whew, man. All right. Let's take a little rest. Go ahead, soft bend in your knee. We're going to keep the band up here because we're going to go back to it. Just going to take a little breather here. This time, pulsing, so you might have to bend your knees a little bit, but adding that little pulse, slowly lower your legs down to the ground and bring them back up. They may not go very low because it's wherever your point of control is with your core. So if I go this low, I like lose it. My low back is off the ground, everything's a hot mess. So, and you might need a little soft bend in your knee. So lots of variation here. So you can't really, I mean, I guess you could do it wrong, but doing a very small movement isn't going to be wrong. It means you're just very focused on making sure you're using the right muscles and honoring your body's at today. It's totally fine. Let's put one leg in the loop, extend the other leg down, gentle stretch. Feel that all through the back side of your leg. Let that leg fall to the outside, keeping your hips on the ground. You should feel a nice stretch through your inner thigh. Pulling your leg across your body to the other side, keeping your hips down. You should feel a nice stretch all up the side of your leg. Maybe a lot of stretch up the inside of your leg. Gently switch sides, extend the other leg down to the bottom. Gently pulling it up towards your chest. Feel that nice stretch. Letting that leg fall to the outside, keeping your hips on the ground, feeling a nice stretch through the inner thigh. Bringing your leg across your body, letting it falling across. You feel a nice stretch on the outside of your leg. Try to keep your hips down. That's what you got the band for. Keep you under control. Bringing both feet up to let go of that band. Set it to the side. Like, whew, hallelujah. Set the band to the side. All right. We're going to pin that lower back down to the ground, lifting both of our knees up so that we are in a tabletop position right here. Think about our ribs are down, they're not flaring out. Then either with 2 feet or with 1 foot. So this is 1 foot, you're just going to drop it down to the ground. This is 2 feet, dropping them down to the ground. Both are really good options. Try to keep it out of your neck. It's all your core, deep core muscles, keeping your lower back pinned to the ground, keeping those ribs down. Belly button is going in and up. Oh my goodness, so many things to think about. You don't have to go very fast to have this be super effective. And then I want to give you the option to add a little challenge if you need it. Again, this can be 1 leg or this can be 2 legs. But when you get to the bottom, can you extend those legs out? Or can you just extend 1 leg out? Play with it a little bit. See which one you're at. Both legs, 1 leg. Again, we're already set up in a really good position with our ribs down, our back against the ground. 1 leg, both legs. Alternate between the 2, that's totally fine. Kind of pick a little alternating combo there. No matter what you do, you should be feeling it in your core. Too many, you just go back to doing these heel taps down to the ground. All of this is good variation on this. Check your form periodically. Your ribs are still down, your back's still on the ground. All those things, you know. You're still breathing, I hope. You haven't given up on the breathing yet.
It's easy to forget.
Yeah.
We need fans down here.
You do.
I don't think there is, yeah. You gotta look at the ceiling. There's no fans up there either, is there?
We can file a complaint with facilities.
Service request.
All right. Bring it, rolling ourselves all the way back up to a seated position. Taking a nice big deep breath in, reaching up and then reaching forward towards our toes, trying to hinge at the hips. Maybe we only reach to our shins or our ankles, or maybe we're super flexible and we reach past our toes. Wherever you reach, doesn't really matter. You should feel stretch. Oh, and then putting those legs out nice and wide. I can't go very far here either, but reaching forward, trying to bend at your, not your back so much as where you're supposed to hinge at your hips. I do not have much mobility here.
It's much easier when you're standing up.
I know.
Probably gravity helps us.
Yeah, probably.
Get there.
Exactly. And our back helps us. We're like, okay, oh, the hips, okay, we're out of room.
Yeah.
Oh. Just like that, it's 12:45. How did that happen? Hi. If anybody's there.